When movie cliffhangers are pulled off correctly, they can have a massive impact. A good cliffhanger is designed to break the story at an organic moment of high drama and leave the audience wanting to come back for more. So there's nothing worse than a movie that ends on a cliffhanger, sets up a future conflict only for the sequel to completely ignore it. Shall we look at some? I'm Ben from Whatculture, and here are 10 movie cliffhangers that were ignored in the sequel. Number 10. Terminator Genisys ignored Salvation's future conflict. It feels like a long time ago that people were excited for Terminator Salvation, but it turned out to be rubbish. Boo. The film was set to launch a new trilogy centered on Christian Bale's John Connor, and the movie ends on a clear to-be-continued note. In fact, Salvation originally contained a ballsy ending where Connor was killed, and to keep his legend alive, his skin was grafted onto Sam Worthington's Terminator character. This planned ending leaked, and nerds had a meltdown, so was replaced with the silly heart transplant idea, and the next film, Genisys, rebooted everything from scratch. Number 9. Species 2 didn't give a damn about the ending of Species. Species was the much-rented sci-fi thriller about a mostly naked alien woman trying to mate with Earthmen and create a new species that would destroy the planet. Her plan ultimately came to nothing, however, because Michael Madsen blew her head off with a grenade launcher and fried her evil alien baby to a crisp with a flamethrower because he's cool like that and he's my best friend in the world. Species ends on a nearby rat chewing on an alien body part, and the last moment see it mutate and attack another rat, the implication being an army of mutant rats is about to destroy mankind. The sequel, of course, ignores this angle, and we don't know if the rats ever bothered humanity, as nobody brings it up. Number 8. XXX2 didn't find Xander Cage on another mission. The second entry in Vin Diesel's Bond but extreme and really cool We Promise Mum franchise ended with his character Xander Cage on a sunny beach with Sam Jackson's mentor telling him to get ready for his next mission. That cliffhanger came to nothing though, and Ice Cube was drafted in for a sequel nobody wanted or needed. The film mentions Cage was killed off screen in a mission, and there was even a short film showing Cage being blown up and his famous XXX tattoo being the only bit of him that survives the explosion. Diesel would come back for XXX The Return of Xander Cage earlier this year, and it was bad. Number 7. Exorcist III didn't care what happened to Reagan after The Exorcist II. Exorcist II, that's really hard to say, The Heretic was director John Boorman's attempt to undo the damage caused by the original, which he turned down because he thought the idea was sick and horrible. Instead, the sequel featured new age mumbo-jumbo about psychics healing the sick and Reagan overcoming her trauma through hypnotherapy. It wasn't good, and ends with Reagan and Burton setting off on a journey to enlighten mankind about the healing power of Reagan's psychic abilities and how one day humanity might be united through global consciousness. Naturally, The Exorcist III avoids any mention of this, essentially pretending none of it happened. Number 6. The Lawnmower Man 2 rewrites the ending of the original. The Lawnmower Man had cutting-edge visual effects for 1992, and the virtual reality concept it was touting has only recently come back in vogue. Based loosely, albeit extremely loosely, on a Stephen King short story, the movie has a simple-minded gardener named Job become a virtual reality god. His body is destroyed in an explosion in the ending, spoiler, but the final scene has telephones ringing the world over, signaling his birth in cyberspace. The appalling sequel, Beyond Cyberspace, retcons all of that and has Job, played by a different actor, surviving the explosion and getting involved in another evil cyberspace scheme. What a cop-out. Number 5. Jason Lives ignores a new beginning altogether. Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, was meant to be the final chapter, only for its success to spur another sequel. With Jason being thoroughly hacked up in the previous movie, the producers decided to make a new beginning a murder mystery, which followed Jason's killer Tommy Jarvis as he's stalked by someone who may or may not be Jason. Turns out, the killer was just a copycat, but the ending implies the events of the film push Tommy over the edge and sees him don the hockey mask and about to attack the film's final girl. It was supposed to set up Tommy as the franchise's new killer, but since audiences roundly hated it, this idea was quickly scrapped. Instead, Part 6 opens on Tommy digging up Jason's corpse only to accidentally bring him back to life. No mention is made of the events of A New Beginning or Tommy going crazy, and the subsequent films just ignore it. Number 4. Day of the Dead leaves the fate of Dawn's survivors in the air. Dawn of the Dead is a perfect fusion of zombie gore, action movie, and social commentary, and the ending features the two survivors, Peter and Fran, narrowly escaping them all in a helicopter. That was said weird. She's heavily pregnant and they're low on fuel and ammo, but there's hope they might reach safety. We'll never find out though, since Day of the Dead doesn't follow up on their story at all, and instead features a group of scientists and soldiers trapped in an underground bunker while the zombies close in. It's a good deal bleaker than Dawn, and while it would have been nice to have learned if Peter and Fran made it. It's probably a question best left to the viewer to decide for themselves. No, they're dead. Number 3. The MCU forgot about the leader after The Incredible Hulk. For a long time, The Incredible Hulk has been treated like the red-headed stepchild of the MCU because they'd rather everyone forget it happened. Marvel's messy falling out with Edward Norton probably played a part in that, and most of the film's events like The Abomination and Samuel Stern's turning into the leader have been quietly swept under the rug. The reappearance of William Hurt as General Ross in Civil War made it feel like they're finally ready to embrace The Incredible Hulk though, but even if Stearns doesn't return, the MCU is big on continuity, so at the very least the character's origin story from The Incredible Hulk should remain intact. Number 2. Diamonds Are Forever sidesteps Bond's revenge. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is, depending on who you ask, one of the best Bond movies of all time. It had a great emotional story and top-notch action. The movie ends with Bond married and driving off with his new bride Tracy, only for Blofeld and henchwoman Irma Bunt to open fire on their car. Bond is unhurt, but poor Tracy takes a bullet to the forehead. She headbutted that bullet. She headbutted it real good. The film ends with a heartbroken Bond cradling his lost love. It's a fairly heartbreaking ending for a 007 movie, and this cliffhanger set the scene for some epic revenge. Instead, the next film, Diamonds Are Forever, saw the return of Sean Connery after George Lazenby left. It opens with an angry Bond chasing down Blofeld and seemingly killing him, implying he's seeking revenge, but no mention is made of Tracy or Irma Bunt, the one who actually pulled the trigger. But since the actress who played Irma passed away, the character was likely omitted out of respect. Number 1. Dream Warriors doesn't care if Jesse survived. Freddy's Revenge. The original A Nightmare on Elm Street ends with one of the most confusing twists ever, and the sequel, Freddy's Revenge, ends with a similar last-minute jump scare. The movie's hero, Jesse, has overcome Freddy, won the heart of the girl he loves, and is on the school bus with friends when Freddy's claw suddenly bursts out of someone's chest. Freddy's Revenge proved to be the odd man out for the series, featuring a male hero and not really following the formula of the other sequels. Some people like it because it's so bizarre, but most feel it's a complete mess and the rest of the franchise ignores it. The next movie, Dream Warriors, makes no reference to Jesse or Freddy's ability to jump into the real world, and for a series that was quite good at wrapping up those loose ends, this feels like a notable snub. And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the Whatculture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and thanks for watching.